The meeting to order. I'll ask each commissioner to please respond with a here when I call out their name. Commissioner Doan,
Here.
Commissioner Duggan,
Here.
Commissioner Lysick,
Here.
and Commissioner Sander is excused tonight. I will now close the regular session of the board and we will reconvene in executive session. Will the district recorder please read the executive session script?
An executive session of the board is called under ORS 192.6602H to consult with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. We will now meet in executive session. Can you hear us now, Kylie?
Yep, I can hear you guys. Thank you.
And Kylie, can I ask one more question of you? Can you see the presentation now?
Yes, I can see the presentation.
Thank you. So I did go through the steps, and I'll result then at the October 15th meeting, an opportunity for you to take action.
How do we get the captions back? You got that?
I may need Tim's help on this one. All right. Sorry about the technical difficulties. So I did go through the process. So essentially on the 20th, we'll get direction to hold public hearing on the 17th of September. That will give us direction to issue notice that's required by law, and then you'll be prepared to take action on the 15th after having the public hearing on the 17th. As usual, we will have our normal public outreach, but instead of doing that in August, we'll be doing it in September, and that will include two. That will include two talking water events, one at noon, the other in the evening, and of course, then our in-person meeting that we'll have here at the district's headquarters. So that should accommodate the public to come to the open houses and to learn more about the rates that are being proposed. Any questions about the process? The only difference is everything is slid about a month from what we've done in past years. So I want to talk a little bit about our educational assistance program that we have. We have this to build staff expertise within the district. And you may have noticed in the Thursday memo, we had 3 people that recently had completed a program. The first is our fleet coordinator, Jeremy Kind, who earned a certificate in manual machining. I've actually got a video I'm going to show you here in a bit and some of the work that he did. It's really quite interesting and frankly impressive from my perspective. Also, our accounting specialist, Carissa Sosa, earned a post-baccalaureate certificate in accounting from Eastern Oregon University. And our water supply program assistant director, that's Dave's right-hand woman, Joelle, earned a master's degree in public administration from PSU in June. So this is an example where we're actually using the educational assistance program we've included in the budget to build capacity for the district. And I really want you to see this this device that Jeremy made. So this is a little bit of a video. So he's heating using a heat gun to transfer the energy. Now, engineers, you'll get this. I was impressed. So he fabricated all these elements with the exception of the screws. And that's what he was able to learn in his machining process. Took him a bit of time. He does it on his own time, but obviously now this is important because we have that capability in-house, the work that Jeremy can do. So congratulations to Jeremy, Carissa, and Joelle for the work they've undertaken. It is outreach season, so TVWD, we do have some upcoming outreach events, including the Enchanted Family Day with THPRD. That'll be on Thursday, July 22nd from 10 until noon at Roxbury Park. The Ulos Farmer Market, if you want to attend that, on Thursday, July 24th from 3 to 7 p.m. At Southwest Farmington across from the Mountain View Middle School. Staff enjoys doing these. We provide water to the citizens that are there, have conversations with them. We have an opportunity to provide information about the upcoming Willamette Water Supply System integration. So very important events. With that, I'm going to turn over to Justin Dyke, who's going to present tonight's director's report. Justin?
Thank you, Paul, and good evening, commissioners. So I'm going to use my director report time to do a little bit of an update on our campaign, but more specifically a subset of the campaign, our digital advertising within the Meta platform, that's Facebook and Instagram. As you can maybe remember, we've talked a bit about doing some testing of messages with that platform. We're happy to report we've gone through a testing phase. We've got some feedback from customer engagement. I'd like to carry you through a little bit of what that feedback is and some of the changes we're making to the campaign as we now incorporate that feedback and look forward to the next month or so. So, a quick overview, we're trying to increase our awareness of the Willamette Water Supply System amongst residents in our area. And we're using data that's been derived from our market research, survey, and focus groups to inform us with the best key messages that we feel would resonate most with our customer base. Now, our A/B testing, as it's called, is essentially a series of tests of different messages within the same audience group to see what has the higher engagement and factors of engagement that we most appreciate. Those would be our key performance indicators, impressions, reach, which is total audience of availability, link clicks, frequency, and average cost per click. That cost per click is also really important because we have a set budget over the duration of the campaign. We want to make sure we're using our money and investment in this campaign as efficiently as possible. So a 30-day performance update. Results from our A/B testing revealed that the following themes connected the most: earthquake resilience, local control, and family/future preparedness. Now, these three are themes that were within our top 5 of key messages of total 10 key messages. So within the group of our top 5, we have 3 now that have ranked the highest with this 30-day trial period of May 4th through June 4th of this year. What worked really well was a total of about 430,000 users. Now, that's an odd number because I'm sure Paul is sitting there and thinking that's way more than the population we serve in the district. So this number caused us to do a little bit of digging into the back end of the campaign platform with Meta to learn that each different campaign subset, of which we had 5 campaign families running for our A/B testing, have overlapping data. So one of the things with the A/B testing that's really been interesting to us is the amount of data we can get out of it, but how we need to sift through it and filter it to make sure we're getting an accurate representation. So if you were to look at the A/B test, it would tell you 430,000 people saw these ads over the course of 1 month. Now that's a great number, but it is slightly misleading. So we do have some data trimming and evaluation to do to make sure we judge these campaigns properly. Also, our Spanish ad program reached about 115,000 users. Same problem here, probably multiple overlapping with the sets because the Spanish audience also received 5 sets of ad campaigns to test within that audience group. But we did maintain a cost per click of less than $2, which is an efficient use when compared to other campaigns and an efficient use compared to a lot of the Meta standards. So that is a good use of our money that we feel would last throughout the duration of our campaign quite effectively. A couple challenges we've identified is that the ads are only reaching users once or twice previously, and we'd like to see our frequency in the 3 to 5 range. So we're going to be making some changes to the campaign to aid that frequency. As you could remember from the training last time I saw you with my counterpart from Water Systems Consulting, we like to see our messages hitting that minimum level of 7 times. Now, the Meta campaign is a component of a larger campaign, but getting that frequency number up helps us with the message saturation with our customers. And some messages just didn't resonate as well as others. That's a standard occurrence in an A/B test. It's almost, we design it to do that. We almost anticipate there to be honestly a loser in the group and one that will get trimmed as a result. So what have we done now as we've adjusted into June? Our ads are now focusing on only the highest performing. So as before, during the initial test, each of the Spanish and English ad campaign sets had five families of ads with slight variations in between them. We're now running only 4 families of ad sets within each language to focus on the highest performance of the messages. We've also switched the campaign to what Meta would call an auction to a reach and frequency. These are back-end kind of definitions of essentially how do our ads get placed in a marketplace of other advertisers in the same zip codes. Essentially, we've gone from a competitive environment to a locked environment where we have to do tweaks to the campaign and the messages and the actual performance statistics manually, but we're able to secure our ads at a better and more cost-effective rate. And we're also then not competing on a cost per click campaign format against other advertisers in our area, which would be disadvantageous to us. It would be against us. It would increase our cost per click and burn through our campaign budget too fast. And as well, we've updated a lot of the messages to be just a little quicker and a little more direct. Things like, for example, your water supply is changing in 2026. Just very direct on some of the components of the ads. Now, to show you a little bit more, this is, I've got 2 slides like this, so you'll see a good examples. What you would see is underneath our logo, there is a small block of text, there is a large image, and further towards the bottom, a secondary line and a call to action. Each of these as components are things that we are able to have control over. So we are able to now modify all of the text elements and the image elements. And within each set of these images, there are different text and call to action elements that we've been testing within the Meta platform. All it takes is something as small as changing the Learn More button on the bottom right-hand side of each of those to a different verbiage, and the Meta platform would view that as a completely different advertisement, and it would then train the algorithm differently. So what you're seeing here is the improved version of most of our ads. I'll have a second slide with a couple other remainders there, but this is what we are seeing as the most effective from within each ad set. Now, you will see other variants as well, but typically we are going to be trying to use the most successful, the highest engagement and click-through ratings. That's what we want, is people to land off of the Meta platforms and onto our website. But different messages appeal to different people, and we want to make sure that all of our different audience subsets of customers have a message opportunity that appeals to them and engages with them to view our content. The other 2 remainders, and a quick call out on the left side there that we do have video versions of some of these ads as well. Videos also play really well within the Meta algorithms. A lot of our videos, for example, either have just stock music behind them, just kind of elevator music, or they don't have sound at all. We're really trying to get people to do the click, follow the call to action function, and not just watch the video, but the videos do have a higher rating within the Meta platform. They are very well received. So a couple of next steps that we've already taken upon ourselves. We've assessed and adjusted our low-performing Spanish ads. So just this week, we worked with some of our Spanish-speaking colleagues to review some of the changes that we've made to the English-formatted ads that are showing improvement over the last, I believe, 15 or so days. And we'll continue to track that improvement. And we've tried to follow suit with changes to the verbiage in some of the Spanish ads to see if we can have an equal increase in engagement with those users as well. And we're using some of the comments we receive from on the ads to help train ourselves on and give ourselves some insight into our customer sentiment and reaction. It helps us as far as some of the interactions we're able to help train with our customer service colleagues. And as well, it gives us a bit of an insight into some of the effectiveness and some of the reactions our customers are having to the ads. We don't get a lot of comments, but the ones we do get are very insightful and helpful for us. It also gives us an opportunity to train how we respond publicly in these situations and test some of our additional key messages and supporting messages with our customers. And we want to optimize these campaigns continuously. We're able to collect data probably hourly, but daily is a good rhythm for us and adjust it to inform some of our future campaigns. But as well, a lot of the A/B testing and the current testing that we're doing, or I should say, now that we're out of A/B testing, the performance of the campaign in the early stages is a huge benefit for us for purchasing out-of-house, more static advertising, traditional advertising. So we're able to run our calls to action, our taglines, and our key messages paired with the different visuals and really experiment so that when we do things like purchase bus benches or billboards or in-store ads throughout the district that are much more difficult and expensive to change in the middle of a campaign cycle, we can go in with the investment and make sure that we've got a combination of the visual and written assets as effective as possible with what's resonating with our customers and is also complementary to what they're seeing in other parts of the campaign, so that as we get through the customer saturation of that 7 touch points or more, All of these are building towards a customer understanding and an engagement that is supportive of the campaign, increasing our customer awareness of the Willamette Water Supply Program and the upcoming integration of that water when the time has come. And with that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, President Fisher, that concludes the report by the Chief Executive Officer and management staff.
We'll now to Commissioner Communications. Commissioners will now report on recent meetings attended. I'll just go down the list. Commissioner Doan.
I see more on comments. Okay, the only meeting I attended is tonight's meeting. I think I'm here.
Yep. Commissioner Duggan.
Okay, on June 25th, I attended the Metro Impact meeting where they talked about placemaking grants that Metro Head is in the process of administering and recommendations to the full Metro board. Also, they Impact approved and endorsed the Tuolumne Valley Highway Transit Improvement locally preferred action. And then on the 7th of July, I met with Paul Matthews, our regular monthly meeting. On the 7th of July, of the 8th of July, I attended the Washington County CPO #1 meeting where we had service provider updates. And again, Lindsay Wachnick did an excellent job talking about district's construction activities this summer. And she was able to go first again, which was nice because I'm sure she had better things to do. And also Megan Rasmussen from the Sheriff's Office gave an update on the Sheriff's Office and their protocols. And there was also a deputy that gave a nice presentation from his patrol car about things going on in CPO #1. And then tonight's meeting.
Commissioner Lysak.
On the 15th, I met with CEO Matthews for a monthly touch base, and then tonight's meeting.
Sanders is not here, so we'll move to me. On the 25th of June, I attended a Zoom workshop on labor and workforce issues from the Economic Policy Institute. On the 3rd of July, I attended our agenda planning meeting where we discussed upcoming board topics. On the 7th of July, I had a constituent outreach from a constituent to learn about billing issues in their complex. On the 8th, I attended a legislative town hall for HD 37 and 38 to hear how the end of session went from the representatives' perspectives. On the 12th, I attended a little forum with Andrea Salinas to hear her thoughts on what's going on in Congress right now. On the 15th, I had my bi-monthly check-in with the CEO to hear about issues important to him. And then on the 16th tonight, I attended our meeting. Do we have any topics to be raised by commissioners? Seeing none, we will move to public comment. Public comment time is set aside for persons wishing to address the board on items on the consent agenda and matters not on the agenda. Additional public comment will be invited on agenda items as they are presented. Do we have any persons who would like to make comment? Is there anyone virtually?
Mr. Picorni, I see that you are in the virtual meeting. Would you like to make a comment at this time? If so, please unmute. I'll give you a few moments to do so.
No, thank you. Yeah, I'm just listening tonight. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
No public comment. We will move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and may be enacted in one motion without separate discussion. Any board members may request that an item be removed by motion for discussion and separate action. Any items requested to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion will be considered immediately after the board has approved those items which do not require discussion. And the item tonight on the consent agenda is to approve of the June 18th regular board meeting minutes.
This is Commissioner Lysick, so moved.
Is there a second?
Jim Doan seconds.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. The consent agenda is adopted. We will now move to the business agenda, where Paul Matthews will discuss our board officer and committee appointments.
Good evening, again, President Fisher and Commissioners. Tonight, our sole agenda item is the board officer and committee assignments. This is something that we do following board policy. The board actually selects its officers. The board president appoints commissioners to internal and external committees subject to the board's approval, and the board appoints officers and approves the committee appointments at the first regular meeting of the fiscal year, and that would be tonight. So we bring to you tonight the board officer and committee assignments. The appointment of officers, the Tualatin Valley Water District, according to our board policies, we have 5 officer positions, president, and the president is the first but has a 3-term limit. So Commissioner Fisher is concluding his first term, or will have completed that. Vice president, treasurer, secretary, and acting secretary have no term limits on those. In working with President Fisher and others, we have established essentially the same proposed assignments as the current assignments. So these are the current assignments. It actually was revised in January. We made one small change for the Water Intake Facilities Commission. The proposed assignments that we have here are attached to the resolution in your board packet as Exhibit A. They are essentially the same, where we just recognize the terms that have been in place. One change that I do want to point out, though, is that we've eliminated the Aloha Business Association after talking with Commissioner Doan, that that was not a, I won't characterize what you said, Commissioner Doan, maybe you
I'll
can.
characterize it. Never quite knew when it was going to meet or where it was going to meet. And we pay dues to it. And it's been a long time, like a year, since anybody's asked us for an update. So it just seemed to me like it was something we could forego without the loss of any enterprise.
Thank you, Commissioner Doan. So that has been removed. So with that, our recommendation is to adopt Resolution 1925, a resolution approving the annual appointments of the officers of the Tualatin Valley Water District and approving committee appointments. Any questions?
One thought had occurred to me since we talked last fall. As we're moving into this next phase of the organization that we're becoming, getting water from the Willamette, I think it might be good for us to have some, room in our membership for someone to be connected to the Willamette Willamette River Keepers at some point, and that may be a worthy organization for us to have membership in, as we want to also be good stewards of the river. Something for us to discuss in the future.
You bet. I think what I'll do is ask Joel Carey maybe to follow up on that, or maybe Dave, maybe that fits in your category, because as part of the Willamette Intake Facilities Commission, we will have, it may be through the WIF that we do that, but that's a good point. Let's see how we can access that organization and see what our role could be in that. So Commissioner Fisher, I'll work with you on that and with staff to see how that could fit in, and we can bring that back to the board if we want to add that as an external committee.
Comment, and sorry I didn't alert staff to this earlier when I was reviewing the packet, but regarding my appointment as the Special Districts of Washington County alternate to the Metropolitan Metro Policy Advisory Committee, if I can pronounce it correctly. It's kind of a weird appointment. I've been doing it now for a little more than a year and a half, plus or minus, depending upon some issues with the previous holder of that position. Um, I have been in that time the voting member when Commissioner Palacios of THPRD, when he's not available, I've been the voting member. And it's not something you can just drop into. So I've been kind of auditing the meetings, and that's why I've been showing it as a meeting attended. Should that be on that list as an outside? Because it's not a direct appointment, but it was appointed by the board that I do that, and that was requested that we get representation, or it was special districts wanted representation from special districts of Washington County on impact, because every now and then Metro does stuff that we want to be aware of and have input to. And I don't know if that should be on that list just so that it's a placeholder, because technically I'm not a member, but I have been twice
Yeah.
the voting member when I'm serving as alternate. So
So I shot my eyes over to Clark, and Clark said yes. Might be a slightly different thing because the appointment there isn't by the board president, it's by Metro, but it is an external committee. So Clark, what would your advice be on this?
yeah,
In my view, it is something that shows it is something that shows the position that one of our board members is holding externally
yeah,
until that changes. Now, the thing is, it's not going to change. It's going to be you, right? We go through the rotation now of
Yeah.
various things. This one will not rotate because you were elected through a different process.
yeah.
But I think it would be fair for us to show that, to reflect the commitments that the board members have internally and externally, so that, because that may inform then other positions that we do select as part of this board. So it doesn't, you don't have to do it, but I would do it, I think.
Well, I take the line from the Iowa Business Association and just replace it with Metro and
Yeah,
so
so-
whatever. I don't know. I just, I was looking at that and thinking about the process we went through dealing with that 18 months ago. And now it's resolved, and Miles has done a fantastic job being the primary representative of special districts of Washington County on impact. I felt honored to be able to vote to approve minutes and take care of some of the other issues, and some of the things that are discussed there are interesting, but it's not a vital committee that the district, it could be, depending upon what Metro wants to do. But I just thought it should be recognized in this chart. So if I were, as we get to a call for a question, I just would recommend that we modify that chart to show that the MPAC appointment.
So I'm going to ask Clark or Sam. I think they can approve the resolution 1925 with the amendment to Exhibit A to add the impact committee with the assignment to Commissioner Duggan. Is that true?
Yes, they can.
And that could either be as the alternate or the primary. I don't know if it needs to be that descriptive, because again, you get into.
Well, I think actually the way I would look at it is you are this district's appointee to that.
Yeah.
That organization has given you one role or the other.
As the alternate, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
If that works, I'd propose that simple refinement to this, and we can make that adjustment and get it published.
I guess, Paul, since we're speaking on the lines of, other organizations that we represent, when I go to SDAO conferences, now that I'm the president, I'm our I'm our voting member for SDAO, so we should probably include that on the list too.
That makes sense.
Okay, so we have those two adjustments.
Just so that, you know, to.
I think Clark's got some to add here.
I'll be like Paul and not touch anything. So that's right. We can do that. I think the only thing to remember is we may come to a conference sometime where you're unable to attend. You'll have to go through a process to designate somebody like we do now anyway, every year. So we can easily make that amendment. Same thing as we discussed with Commissioner Duggan.
So maybe with that, staff's recommendation might be a little different. Staff recommends you adopt resolution 1925 with an amendment to Exhibit A to add the Metropolitan Policy Advisory Committee, and to add Special District Association, showing Commissioner Duggan as the representative for Impact and Commissioner Fisher, the representative for SDAO.
Commissioner Lysick, so moved.
This is Commissioner Duggan, I'll second.
All those in favor of adopting resolution 1925 as recommended by the staff, please say aye.
Aye.
And it passes. Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful evening, everyone.